You're watching The Sports Objective, the podcast for Pirates.
This is East Carolina Hall of Famer and Utah Jazz first-round draft pick Blue Edwards. You're listening to Pirate Basketball Overtime on the Sports Objective, your home for the best East Carolina hoops coverage.
Put your crossbones up and lean side to side. Yeah, and lean side to side. Yeah, and lean side to side. Come on, yeah. Welcome to the island, man, it's crazy in here. A whole sea of purple and gold waving in here. Keep a plank on the Shark Tank, traders beware, because we got a whole bunch of rowdy sailors in here. Armed and ready, bang the lane, be aware, cause if the backboard break, glasses spray everywhere. We're lighting up the scoreboard, you can with a flare, but we put it out quick.
Welcome into Pirate Basketball Overtime right here on the Sports Objective as the Pirates get a huge win this afternoon in Greenville, South Carolina. I want to say Greenville, North Carolina so bad, but so far I haven't. Let's bring in from China Grove, Bubba Rosenbaum. How are you, man?
Doing great, Dave. And I know Coach Houston was extremely fired up about this win.
How about those friggin' Pirates?
Yes, sir.
It was a great afternoon to be a Pirate there in the upstate of South Carolina. Glad I can make the trip, and Gabe and I, my parents, had a lot of fun watching the Pirates build a 21 points. It got a little too interesting there down the stretch. Didn't convert our free throws the way we need to, but we were able to do what we need to do. Otherwise, make some plays down the stretch to not let it get any closer than two possessions and go on for the 64-56 win over South Carolina. And I have to go back through the record books. We haven't played the Gamecocks much. I know this is our first win over South Carolina since we beat them. Brother. We beat them 56-34 back in the 1998-99 season.
Yeah, by the way, Bubba, you would think that Jeff Charles took the voice was incredible this afternoon. I enjoyed the broadcast. And you would think, as he said, 6-5 going into today, that the Gamecocks had a one-game edge. Well, guess what? After today, it's even Steven, 6-6 for the series, Bubba.
Yeah, I honestly did not realize that. I knew we had beaten the Gamecocks at least 3 or 4 times, but I did not realize it was an even series.
That's crazy, but that's hopefully we're right in the ship when it comes to basketball. Let's bring in Matt Semenza. He's backstage now, and our good buddy on the slopes there. I guess in Connecticut, we'll find out where he went today skiing. So he could not make our show earlier today at Porky's, but great thing. He came off the slopes and watched the Pirates win, and let's see if I can bring him in. Hey, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's up, guys? What's going on? I was on the slopes a little bit today in Connecticut. Got a little snow up here, a few days ago. Not the greatest conditions, a little icy, but it's good to get out there.
So wait a minute. You went skiing and you didn't take us, your bros? Like, you can't take the listen, fellas?
You guys are always welcome. You come up here, you take the drive up to Connecticut. It's all good. But I'll tell you guys, I did sneak off to the lodge and put on ESPN3 on my phone to watch the game. And a few things I really liked. I loved, especially in the first half, how we closed out shots on the perimeter. That we did an outstanding job closing out shots and really, not allowing any easy threes. So I thought that was key to kind of getting a fast start. And then I really liked how Coach Schwartz gave a little pressure in the backcourt. I wouldn't really call it a half-court trap. I'd call it sort of light pressure around midcourt to kind of speed them up and get them out of their rhythm and take some time off the shot clock, which I thought was also helpful. And then I tell you, it's just fun to see East Carolina shoot the ball like that, guys. 50% from the field.
Yeah, and 41 from 3, Matt. How about that? I think it was like 9 out of 22, something like that. And 41% for the game. Really happy. Hey, Bubba, aren't you proud of me? I can remember at least the 3-point stats anyway.
Yeah, the Gamecocks actually had 11 more field goal attempts, because one of the things that we did struggle with, in addition to our free throw shooting, 11 out of 20, was giving up way too many offensive rebounds, second and third shots for the Gamecocks. They had 15 offensive rebounds, out rebounded us overall 35 to 28. So they had 55 shots as opposed to just our 44, but we knocked down 22 out of 44. As Dave mentioned, 9 out of 22 from three, 7 out of 13 from three in the first half. So didn't shoot it well in the second half. But we found a way to do enough to build that 21-point lead there early in the second half. And that 21-point lead, got down to about 3 possessions, down to about a 9 or 10-point game pretty quickly. And we kind of kept the Gamecocks at arm's length there, getting the 6 points, maybe 2-3 games, but no closer. And how about the Pirates? We led wire to wire.
That is crazy.
Never trailed in the ballgame.
That's awesome.
I was thinking about that at halftime, that I didn't speak it out loud. I was praying to God that we could do that, and we did. So this team, though, guys, with looking at those free throws, that is not good. That was not good tonight or this afternoon. That we beat them by 8, but we also, what was it, 8 that we gave up at the line there, 8 more points. So we were fortunate today to pull it out, but also there's games are going to be close games that we're going to lose them. 11 out of 20 is not acceptable. But anyway, that's no surprise there. But that was one of the things that, if you're looking at, not trying to look at the negative, I'm so happy we won today. But certainly that bothered me.
Well, I'll tell you guys, one thing I really liked, and I think is a really good sign, is, when you're up 20 or so at half, and you see this all the time in college and in the NBA, you knew South Carolina was going to make a run. You knew it was coming. It's inevitable, and they did make their run. But what I really liked is we were able to take the run and then punch back and maintain the lead. And that's a really good sign when you can do that. We didn't lose. I didn't feel like at any point we lost control of the game. So I think that's a good sign to see. And what's up, Kyle Barber?
Kyle Barber.
What's going on, guys? Yeah, it's nice win today over South Carolina. Probably not as good of a win as it feels like, not to be negative. But I don't think that South Carolina team's really that good. They got some talent, though. But it's just good to beat a non-conference name brand school from a quote-unquote major conference like South Carolina. I don't remember really the last time we had a non-conference win against a team from one of the so-called Power 5 conferences. When was the last time, guys?
I'll have to think back. That's a good for a top 25 team. Obviously, it was Houston.
No, I'm just a non-Power 5.
Yeah.
Excuse me, a Power 5 conference team. I can't remember the last.
Kyle, I'm pretty sure. Now I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure I heard on TV today. They said it was 15 years for an SEC team. I know they said for an SEC team.
Yeah, we've beaten NC State. That was 2007. So it's hard to remember the last time. If anybody in the comment section knows the last time we beat a team from a Power 5 conference, it was probably sometime, I don't know.
So you give me a minute, give me a few to think about it. I know I'll come up with an answer for us, but as far as kind of what Matt was saying,
didn't we beat Oregon today? State?
Yeah, we beat Oregon State in Raleigh.
Yeah, that's probably longer than I'm thinking it is.
Oh yeah, that was back like 04, 05.
That was like Herion, right?
Yeah, that was the final year of Bill Herion. But as far as the way we defended today, we did an excellent job. Held the Gamecocks to 38% from the floor, 25% from three, and G.G. Jackson, the very talented freshman for the Gamecocks from right there in Columbia. He played 32 minutes. In those 32 minutes, we were able to get him in foul trouble with about 7.5, 8 minutes to go in the ball game. But we did a nice job on him. 13 points, 5 rebounds. He came in averaging 17.5, and really did a nice job on him. I think his season low, he had scored in double figures in all 10 games up to today, and obviously that continued. But his career low had been 11, so we did about as good a job as anybody has on him. In the second half, Hayden Brown, is 6'5", about 235 pounds, was able to give us some trouble on the inside. The majority of his 15 points did come in the second half. And then they also had Michi Johnson. He knocked down three pointers, most of which were well beyond the arc, to help keep the Gamecocks in it and make a little bit of a run there. But all in all, a very good defensive effort for the Pirates. Looking at East Carolina offensively, RJ Felton, how about RJ in his return to his home state? And he had probably at least 15 to 20 people there in attendance. RJ's from Aiken, and in 33 minutes, RJ had 21 points, 8 out of 13 from the floor, 3 out of 6 from three. Also had 3 assists. So a heck of a day for RJ. Then you also had Javon Small in double figures with 12 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds in 37 minutes. And those were the only 2 in double figures for the Pirates. You had Jaden Walker did some nice things, 6 points, 7 rebounds off the bench. Ezra made all 3 of his field goal attempts. He had 8 points, 4 rebounds in 22 minutes. Benjamin Biela, it's great to see him continue to come to life a little bit offensively. He knocked down a 3, also got fouled on a 3, and then went to the line and knocked down 2 out of the 3 free throws. Benjamin Biela is slowly providing some offense. I think that is his season high with 9 in 18 minutes. And then Brandon Johnson had 6 points and 5 rebounds in team high 38 minutes. And then also off the bench, you had Luigi DeBow. He had 1 point in 9 minutes. Valentino Pinedo also made a free throw, and Caleb LeCount played 4 minutes but did not score.
Guys, and looking at those stats, when I saw Ezra Asar, one of the things that Coach talked about is the fact he didn't want him to, as far as free throws were concerned, his free throw shooting has been really bad. Also, his foul trouble, and that's what's killing him right now. He had 8 points in 22 minutes. The reason he only played 22 minutes is he was in foul trouble. So if we can get him out of foul trouble, that would be it looks like almost 4 guys there with a double, not a double, but double figures, I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and as far as Ezra, it almost seemed like I was a little surprised when I saw he only had 6, because one of his 3 field goals, and again, he was 3 for 3. Matt, I don't know if you were watching it this time. Dave, I know you were listening. And Kyle, maybe you were watching. It was in the first half. Excuse me. It was in the second half because it was in front of our bench. He got the ball on the right side of the basket and exploded to the rack. And, I mean, it was a unbelievable dunk. And, got some reaction from the other from the Furman and Clemson fans and other fans there in attendance. It was a highlight reel play, and very impressive for a freshman, and so much upside for Ezra.
Yeah, no doubt. I watched the first half, listened to the second half. I was on the road. But, Bubba, how was obviously a handful of Pirates there, but you mentioned the Clemson fans and the Furman fans because, they both had games in this, not tournament, but showcase as it is. So I'm assuming all the Clemson and Furman fans were cheering for the Pirates.
Yeah, we actually, after the game, when my parents and I, we were, again, for folks who didn't tune into our show earlier, Gabe Mikulas lives in Charlotte now. Of course, Gabe played for the Pirates under Bill Herring back from 2000 to 2004. And as you see there on the screen for our viewers, Gabe was able to attend with me today, and it was nice to see him get to meet Coach Schwartz, and they had a nice conversation. Coach Schwartz talking about how he really loves the international flavor, and the guys from a fundamental standpoint and some of the things they bring to the table that are really drilled into them in their respective countries. And it was nice to see a former player get to have that interaction with Coach Schwartz, and Coach Schwartz what he told Gabe right after he had just finished his post-game interview with Jeff Charles and Michael Perry on the network. He was just saying, we got to find a way, got to put the way and knock down our free throws and do the things we need to do to not allow you to get so interested. Dave, you're on mute.
Sorry, I was saying 11 out of 20 is unacceptable, and I said that earlier, but leaving 8 free throws at the line, 8 points, I should say, at the line is way too many, and that's going to bite us, especially conference play is coming up, guys. End of the month, we've got to find a way to correct that, and it's just a matter of that's a fundamental of the game, and if you have to shoot 1,000 free throws a day or whatever you have to do, you got to do it.
Yeah, we got to get better at the free throw line. There ain't no doubt if we're going to compete in the American. I think right now we're further along than where we thought we'd be. I think everybody at 9-4 would have taken that at the beginning of the season. Somebody asked, I think we'd like to have to say that South Carolina State game back, be 10-3. But I think we're a little. Would you guys agree? Would you say we're slightly ahead of schedule?
I definitely would.
I'm sure that's something that Coach Schwartz probably would not say, but that's the thing I love about one of the things I love about just like we just beaten South Carolina by 8 today, and you could tell that how much he was bothered by the offensive rebounds that I mentioned, and then also the free throw shooting and some of those things that he knows against better teams in conference play will come back to bite us. And just like early in the year where we'd come back from 15 or 20 down and won a game, and he was bothered by the fact that we were digging those deep holes. So I really have been pleasantly surprised thus far. We just honestly did not know what to expect because Ezra Asar and some of these guys that are new to the program, and even the guys that were returning, like a Javon Small, we didn't know what we were going to get. And we knew what we could get from Brandon Johnson. We didn't know that he was going to be knocking down 24 and 25 footers the way he is, right. With fairly regularly on a fairly regular basis. But there was just so many unknowns that I would have never thought. I thought we would be pretty good defensively, which we have been a decent amount of the time, but I never would have thought we had been scoring 75 a game or whatever it is we're scoring.
Well,
yeah, guys. I mean, oh, go ahead, Kyle.
Yeah, I think I got a little delay here on my
go ahead, Matt.
The road, but can y'all hear me?
Yeah. I think we just have some lag on your end.
Kyle.
Earlier.
Go ahead, Kyle.
I'm out in the sticks in Jones County, guys. They're between the Jones and North County line, trying to make it home to beautiful Greene County. But I was going to say, I don't even remember what I was going to say now. I've lost my train of thought after all the rambling. But yeah, guys, go ahead because I've totally lost wherever I was going.
Sorry. Well, I'll jump in for you, Kyle. Maybe this will help you. But guys, I think the thing with this team is we're going to have nights like this when we shoot the ball really well, and when we do that, we're going to be a tough team. We're going to be a tough out. It's those nights when we don't shoot at a high percentage where we're really going to, obviously goes without saying, we're going to struggle. But I think defensively, this is kind of the type of team that Schwartz wanted to build here. He's a defensive guy. He was in charge of the defense at Tennessee. Correct. So he wanted to implement that type of, tough-minded defensive style here. And I really like what I saw tonight defensively. And, To your point, though, Kyle, and whoever made that point, I do feel like we're in a pretty good place considering the fact that you have a new staff, an entirely new team, and then you have guys like Felton and Small that really didn't play significant minutes last year. So you got to like where you are.
Yeah, and that's the point I was going to make earlier that I lost. Javon Small, and it's been made ad nauseum, but I'll make it again. Nobody, we knew we had him coming back, but nobody knew he could play at the level he's played at.
Yeah, and I think he actually has developed, and it's been great for the game. Like I was telling Bubba last time on our last show, last overtime, is the fact that the game for RJ and for Felton, for RJ Felton and for Javon Small has slowed down to the point of where they're experienced. This is not their first rodeo, where last year was their freshman season. So they're starting to be able to see things better and be able to have, I guess, the confidence level where they're playing a lot more minutes. They're getting the experience they need on the court. And I think that was crucial. And guys, with this team, when you look at it now, we desperately, I'm going to be doing my Bubba pitch right now, Bubba. We desperately need everybody there Wednesday night for High Point. That $8 for a ticket, and High Point's a good team. We need that.
They're projected to win the Big South.
Yeah, they're good, and they're better. I think, and Bubba, you said earlier, I agree with you 1,000%. They're way better than South Carolina. So we're going to have to. I don't want anybody to think it's a cupcake game, and you see High Point, you go, oh, it's like we do in football. Oh, it's a cupcake. We're going to win this one. No, $8 tickets for the lower bowl. And I was telling you guys earlier that this is a cheaper ticket than going to the movies. And that's one of my favorite things is to go to the movies. But $8 to get in is a cheap price, and we should be able to get people in there.
Yeah, I would. Go ahead, Bubba.
No, you go.
No, I was going to say I would hope so. I would hope we would be able to at least get 4,000 or 5,000 in there. It's Wednesday night. It's right before Christmas, so the students aren't going to be there. That's why the lower bowl is going to be able to be sold for $8. But I would hope that we'd be able to at least get a decent crowd in there after coming off the South Carolina win. And like you guys said, High Point projected to win the Big South. It ain't a cupcake at all. It's not on paper as exciting of a name as South Carolina, but potentially a better basketball team.
And they are coached by G.G. Smith, the son of Tubby Smith. As most folks will recall, Tubby went back there a few years ago, and G.G. was on his staff and took over the reins from his father. And they're off to an 8-2 start, as I said, projected to win the Big South. And with the exception of 2 or 3 games, they have scored right around, I think, in excess of 75 points in all but 2 of their 10 games thus far. So we talk about the Pirates defensively. They'll have a tall task with the High Point Panthers on Wednesday night.
Yeah, and we've got, guys, this is the last non-conference game. We've got to get this game.
What's their most quality win so far?
Give me a moment. I was looking at their schedule. They're 2 lost by 10 to UNLV. That was at UNLV 78-68. And then they lost to Queens University, who is Division I now. And Queens is actually very good. Queens has a few wins that would surprise you probably, but they lost to Queens 87-79. They beat a good Furman team 85-82. They beat North Florida 93-88. They beat Central Michigan 68-67. They beat Wofford, who's been very good in recent seasons. They beat the Terriers 91-80. They have a couple of non-D1 wins. They beat Tennessee State 77-72. So, I mean, it's a game that I think at home, if we play the way we can play, we should win, but we certainly can lose.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. And by the way, guys, with that game with Wednesday night right before Christmas, 6 o'clock tip-off, and then right after Christmas on the 28th, those of us that are going to the bowl, I don't know if we probably won't be back in time for that one, but
yeah,
That Temple game is going to be another $8 game, by the way, guys, with the students not there. So make sure that you get your tickets and have fun.
I was sad to see that, Dave, because Gabe Mikulas and I were talking about how the conference opener against Temple, and it fell on the 20th or falls on the 28th, the day after the Birmingham Bowl. So I was hoping it was going to be the 29th or 30th, but I think after playing Temple, we travel out to Wichita.
For some reason in my mind, I had it that it was the 29th. I don't know why, and I was like, man, we're coming back. We'll be back on the 28th. I'll go to the game on the 29th with my kids. And then I looked and said, oh, I double checked right before our show in the green room. And I hate that I thought I was right and I was wrong. So it won't be the last time I'm wrong, but certainly I was disappointed about that. Kyle, as far as the action goes with this team, and you know how important the conference is with the, what is it, Bubba, 18 conference games. So right now with the math, and you're at 8 wins, and if we can get 9 on Wednesday night, and then you got a week break before you start the conference, be nice to. We were doing the math, and Bubba, right now, if we could get even 8 wins, that's the magical number of 16 like we had last year. So 9 if you win half your conference games, then you would be 1 game better than last year.
Yep. As you say, 8-4 at the time being. If you can take care of business against High Point, 9-4 going into league play, 18 games. If you went 7-11, if you went 7-11 in league play, which would be the best East Carolina has ever done in the American,
yep.
You would be 16-15 going into the tournament, needing a win in the tournament to guarantee a winning season.
So certainly doable. And what is 6 wins? Is that the most we've had, Bubba, off the top of my head?
Yes, we've won 6 twice. We won 6 under Lebo, and we won 6 last year. We went 6-11 last year.
Yep. So that would be a new record as far as conference wins. So just to get 7 out of we can do 7 out of 18. I think so. So one step at a time. I know, right? Hey, Matt, it's definitely a feat that we can do for sure.
No doubt about it, guys. And especially when you're playing at home, what I really like today is we got off to that fast start. So many times this season with this team, they get off to a slow start and they're clawing back in. I really liked how they get off to a fast start. And if we can do that at home, try to get the crowd involved a little bit, make it a tough environment for the opponent, especially in conference play. So, hopefully we see some more of that.
No doubt about it. You guys, I know that we're almost at a 30-minute mark. Do you have anything before we go?
Yeah, we have some comments here. Craig Doucette chiming in, had to jump back in. Side note, the weather in Birmingham is not warm.
Yep.
Also, a former Pirate pitcher, John White, tuning in on YouTube, says we need to get better on the boards. As we discussed earlier, too many offensive rebounds for South Carolina. But it was great to see a tough win away from home. And then Johnny Robertson chiming in on Facebook saying through the first 10 games, and this actually surprised me because we'd had some games where we shot the ball well. But he says that we never shot over 50% in a game, but during the last 2 that we did shoot 50%. Today we were 22 out of 44. He said also this is the first time that the Pirates have had more than 18 combined steals in back-to-back games.
Wow. And we got the dub, and 3-1 on a 9 on a neutral site. So it is technically a road win. I know, even though it's a neutral site, it's not like when we played at Wilmington. But still, guys, to beat South Carolina in South Carolina, that was still a home game for them. I mean, compared to us, that's 5.5 hours, Bubba, from Greenville, North Carolina. I think Jeff Charles said today to Greenville, South Carolina.
I will say this, and I'm not bashing South Carolina's fan base by any means because, Lord knows if we were playing in Raleigh, who knows, we may have had a decent number show up, but we may have had about what South Carolina had in attendance there today. And I know they were 5-5. They had beaten Clemson. and they had their ups and downs throughout the first 10 games, no doubt. But I was still a little surprised, even though we're here, 8 days out from Christmas and people doing holiday shopping, et cetera, et cetera. I would have thought that South Carolina would have had at least 4,000 or 5,000 people there, 100 miles up the road. And obviously, it's not like everybody's just in Columbia. They got a decent number of alums and fans in the Greenville area and the upstate area. But pretty sparse crowd. It'd be interesting to see how Clemson fans showed up tonight. And obviously, they're much closer than Columbia. That's the thing that surprised me most, because I did think we battled the crowd more than what we did. And to our credit, we kept the fans were there for the Gamecocks out of the game and we led from tip to the final buzzer. And they did get into it a little bit and get the Gamecocks cheer going there when they got it down to 6 points a couple times.
But then it was great listening on the radio towards the end there, guys, to hear Purple Gold. That was fantastic.
Yeah, it didn't last long, but it was good to hear the Purple Gold chant for sure. I heard that hey, Bubba, I heard that the South Carolina, there was a tug of war at some point during intermission, during halftime or something, and the South Carolina fans beat the East Carolina fans. They should have got you and Gabe out there. I bet y'all would have won.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, they had a 2-on-2 tug of war, and then also did a little halftime shootout where I think they played best 2 out of 3 with tic-tac-toe, where they just had to simply dribble down and make a layup, and then come back and place their X or O on the board, and then whoever won that had the opportunity for the half court shot to win $10,000. So the guy won it, won the tic-tac-toe over his female counterpart, and then the half-court shot was online, but too long. It hit the top of the backboard.
Can we find out who lost the tug of war for East Carolina? Because they're certainly not above criticism from this show, guys.
Yeah,
definitely. We got to find that out. Bubba and Gabe would have probably kicked ass. That was just bad picking.
Hey, man. Hey, Kyle, it's like back in the day with the Road Warriors. It's a shame we couldn't unleash the Road Warriors on those South Carolina folks today. So.
Oh, what a rush.
One of my favorite tag teams of all time, but I thought they were so cool. But anyway, what a great win, and just really excited about the basketball season. We have a great win again. Great win tonight. Hopefully breeds to big attendance on Wednesday night. Get your tickets at ecupirates.com. Only $8, folks. Come on. And a lot of churches like mine, we don't have Wednesday night service right now because of Christmas until January. So no excuse not to be able to go out and see a great game.
It's funny you talk about Wednesday night service.
Let's get those. Go ahead, Kyle.
Go ahead, Bubba. What I was going to talk about was just it wasn't relevant to basketball. It was just going to be a comment on something Dave said about that my mom.
Yeah, I was just what Dave said relative to churches throughout Eastern North Carolina, specifically there in the greater Greenville area, Washington, etc. Youth group leaders, and especially those that are Pirates. But hey, even if you're not a Pirate, take your youth group out to Minji's, some cheap entertainment, and Pirates are playing good basketball. So you can take your kids out there and see some quality hoops and enjoy 2 or 3 hours together. So hopefully that's something that we'll see and throughout the entire season, but especially here through the holidays when the students are on break.
No doubt about it. Guys, don't forget, I want to remind everybody, Monday night we have a big show at 7 o'clock as we have Mark Meadows, Executive Director of the Birmingham Bowl. He's going to be on with us, so that's going to be great. We've got a lot of great programming coming up, and the next couple weeks is going to be very busy between football and basketball. Get your, by the way, get your baseball tickets. They only have jungle tickets left. If you want to go to a baseball game or season tickets, get in touch with the ticket office. Again, just go to ecpirates.com or call 1-800-DIAL-ECU. And as I was telling Kyle early, no surprise, football tickets will go on sale in February. So get ready for that, Bubba.
Yeah, and if you have baseball season tickets in the past in the grandstand, just to clarify what Dave was saying there, then you have until right there after the new year to renew those and retain them. But make sure you do so, especially if you're someone who has not had them for long. Make sure you go ahead and do that, because there are plenty of people that I'm sure would love to claim a spot in the grandstand.
I slipped up and missed last year, and I had good seats, as you guys remember, at third base. And now I've got to fight my way back. So I like the jungle. I'm just going to have to be with our friends in left field, I think, and I'll have a much better time. But anyway, great. The jungle is a great atmosphere. I enjoy it, but we'll see how that works out. Guys, do you have anything before we go?
You guys ever just have a memory that comes in your head when somebody mentions something and you think of something that could have been done, and then you think, should you say it? And then you censor yourself. I just had one of those moments. I'll tell you guys off there.
Okay.
Kyle, I think that this sounds good, and I think this should be for the air.
No, not in 2022.
Kyle, this is a first, man. Like, you're not one to censor yourself. What's going on?
Well,
It's got to be good.
It's not foul language. It's something that would have flown 10, 20 years ago that might not fly today. So I'll tell you guys off there.
Okay. All right, Craig. You'll have to join our group text, I guess, Craig, to find out. So, all right. Pirates get a big win, 64-56 in Greenville, South Carolina, over the Gamecocks of USC of South Carolina. And appreciate all the guys being here. Appreciate everybody listening and watching. You've been watching Pirate Basketball Overtime right here on the Sports Objective. Good night, everybody. And as always, go Pirates.
Put your crossbones up and lean side to side. Yeah, and lean side to side. Yeah, and lean side to side. Come on. Yeah. Welcome to the island, man. It's crazy in here. A whole sea of purple and gold waving in here. Keep a plank on the shark tank. Traders beware, because we got a whole bunch of rowdy sailors in here.
You're watching The Sports Objective, the podcast for Pirates. Like and follow our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel. As always, we appreciate you listening to the show. And go Pirates!